If you're a fan of deck building roguelikes, there's a new contender that's shaking up the genre. GUG doesn't just have strategy-packed gameplay, it also uses AI to create monsters that evolve as you play. But here's the big question: can this bold experiment in procedural design actually deliver on its promise, or will it collapse at launch? What's up, Chaotic fam? It's your host, KICTV. Today's preview gameplay showcase is GUG, a creature deck building roguelike developed by an indie team by the name of Martian Lawyers Club. This team set out to use AI in a very creative way by allowing AI to generate your army of monsters just by typing a singular name or multiple names. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the gameplay, the visuals, the audio, and the overall potential of GUG's demo to see if it's set to be the next big hit of the deck builder genre or a flop. So GUG is a unique deck building game where you command a horde of bizarre plague-like monsters, and these creatures looks like something ripped them right out of a Lovecraftian story. In order to build this army, we need help. Therefore, GUG is a turn-based deck builder in which you strategically pace your units on the board to engage enemy GUGs as they come in. But the overall real star of the show is the transcendence mechanic. You give each monster a name, and that name directly influences unique ability. And for example, I named my first GUG Chaos, and it transformed into Karuple, or Karuple, or however you want to pronounce that. A creature that overall swaps the attack and health of all other GUGs on the field. Just so you know, this GUG's ability got me through most of my run, especially when I planned out specific GUGs to swap their health for power and deal crazy damage. Another time, I actually named one of my GUGs Plague, and it actually gained the ability to spread a devastating plague to all GUGs within 10 spaces. Now, I was able to team my Chaos and my Plague GUGs together, and man, when I tell you, this was a hell of a nasty combo. They single-handedly made my life much easier, but honestly, this player freedom and the overall unpredictable nature of these generated abilities makes GUG incredibly replayable. No matter how many times you do runs, you could just come up with so many different kinds of GUGs just to help you along the way. But let's talk about the overall gameplay, which is the combat encounters. And combat unfolds in a classic turn-based fashion, but the battlefield has unique zones that also grant your GUGs health or attack bonuses depending on their location of the zone at the end of your turn. Therefore, when it's time to engage enemies by moving a GUG into combat, battles will resolve as expected and you will continue till you win. But I need you all to keep one thing in mind though as you are having these encounters, because all battle damage will go through no matter if you are stronger. So let me give you an example. Say if your GUG has 14 attack and 7 health and the enemy GUG has 3 attack and 5 health. Even though you did damage first and you overall outright killed them, the enemy GUG damage will also go through and carry over to the matches over. So strategy really does play a part. Now, one thing I will say, this type of system gives me a little bit of remembrance of Magic the Gathering, because something very similar happens when you're in specific combat encounters of that nature. But when you're over deciding which GUG battles who, between the battles, you can use these things called GUG sauce, right? So this GUG sauce is what I'm calling it because that was my first reaction when I saw them poop it out, and it just looks like sauce from them, dog. I just bear with me. It's just GUG sauce, man. But basically, it's the game's currency to overall upgrade your main GUG, purchase new GUGs, and even bolster your army with passive buffs. Now, you may ask, how is it all created? Well, GUG sauce is generated by your GUGs during the attack phase. If they don't engage in combat, and the amount of GUG sauce produced increases with your GUG's overall attack power, and overall setting yourself up to constantly be getting more and more power as you go to the shops, because in between your games, in between your rounds and such, so on and so forth, you can go actually buy like health to re-heal your character, re-heal Mother Marula, which is you, your character, the mother of all GUGs, essentially. You can also buy new GUGs. Like, that is a heavy thing you need. So strategy really plays a part into everything you do, because sometimes you may have to not focus so much on overall attacking and making sure that your GUGs are generating the GUG sauce to be able to obtain more GUGs by just buying them to really further help your army. You really only get to use up to 5 across your entire team, and then if they die, you can of course replace them with other GUGs. Overall, I've experimented with countless of combinations of names for the GUGs, and the game consistently delivers surprising but often very powerful abilities, even with complex or unusual names. Sometimes I'll do a very complex name and my GUG got a weird ass ability and was even named Error. So the AI definitely does have its limits, what it can produce for you. So I advise keeping it simple, but I want you to sprinkle a little bit of complexity into that. But we do need to talk about the visuals and audio, because my lord, the soundtrack is fantastic. This distinct cosmic horror or Lovecraftian vibe. Therefore, the battle theme is particularly very intense and engaging. But what really helps this audio and sends it home for me is the overall visual design of the GUGs, which is incredibly creative and unique. Each monster is a bizarre and grotesque masterpiece. This is a demo, so I do have some issues that I will also like to talk about a little bit as well. I did experience, and hopefully upon full release, they can be fixed, but I encountered a few minor bugs during my playthrough. In one instance, I created this army of GUGs, which in my opinion was absolutely crazy powerful, and I kept receiving buffs at the beginning of my turn, and just gaining crazy power and health for my GUGs, and even generating crazy amounts of GUG sauce. I was over in the thousands just on one given mission. But I guess the enemy failed to place a GUG, even though the icon was saying they could, but it just, I guess, got stuck constantly on my turn, and therefore had to force me to restart my entire run because I could not continue. I also noticed that there were some visual glitches, such as GUGs becoming stuck like mid animation during certain ability effects, and other than these issues, the game ran fine by me. The biggest thing was overall that I felt like the game was too overwhelmed and caused all of my abilities that were stacking on top of each other caused the game to freeze up. So that is my biggest con of this entire demo. Other than that, I had a blast. I thoroughly thought I could have had this run take me to the end of the demo, but no, I had to forcefully stop my run just to continue playing the game, other than just being stuck on the same loop 24/7. Despite these minor issues though, GUG is truly innovative and captivating deck building game. And now I will say, like, its use of AI as a form of building our creatures, I feel like it was used properly to really help make this game replayable. And I just want to ask you guys this comment in down below. What do you guys think about developers using AI to help them along the way? I feel like personally, if it's done properly, done in a fun way, not for like no malicious intent or just to be lazy or anything of that nature, I feel like that's where it gets bad. That's like the super extreme side of things. But I feel like when it's done right, and I had a blast. I didn't even know that we were using AI until I did my little research on the game itself, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But it was fun. Overall, it was definitely fun. It made the game replayable. It was an absolute blast to play for plenty of times, as many times as I redid my runs. GUG is looking to be one of the best deck builders to kick off the year for 2025. It has already received a lot of praise on the demo alone, just like I said through the research I did. I love the transcendence mechanic, which is basically the naming your GUG to overall, change the uniqueness and the experimenting of what GUGs it is, and really pushing that replayability as a whole to really push yourself to craft something dangerous and have them just take over. The art style, soundtrack is top notch, further enhancing the game's atmosphere. But with some polish and bug fixes, GUG has the potential to be a truly special and memorable experience for any fans of deck builders when it releases. But if you enjoyed today's demo showcase of GUG, then I definitely recommend heading over to Steam, giving it a try for yourself before the game's official launch early 2025. And other than that, stay safe out there. Make sure to subscribe to the Chaotic community, but like the video while you're at it. Therefore, it's been your host, KICTV, signing out. Peace.